Test, test.
See trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Hear babies cry, watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Good morning. Wow, that song always chokes me up. So I was like, gosh, now I got to do announcements, and I'm up here trying not to cry. So if I start choking up, you'll just have to forgive me. Um, my name is Gail Stevenson, and I serve as treasurer of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. Thank you. I am delighted to welcome you all this morning, whether you are here at UUCS or at home virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. If you are visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you to share more about the life of this congregation. Visitor cards may be found in the pocket in the back of the chair in front of you. Please feel welcome to fill one out and place it in the offering plate during the service so that we can connect with you. There are many important announcements on the sheets titled Connect at the back of your bulletin this morning. Please open your bulletin to see all that you can be a part of. Here are a few highlights. Following the service this morning, please come for a time of coffee, treats, and fellowship at our first Sunday coffee hour in the fellowship hall. Beginning this Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m., Faith Taylor is offering a class titled Gender Diversity in Community. Last year, Faith educated us on the complexities of sex and gender. Join them on Sundays through April and May to learn how to live together as people of varying gender identities. Let us prove our covenant true. Diversity needs not mean divisiveness. The Anti-Racism Workshop being hosted by SCUJA, the SCUU Justice Alliance, next weekend still has some scholarships available. If you are interested in participating in the highly regarded training, please see Scott or Ann as soon as possible. We are committed to making this a place of thriving for one another and sharing that with a world that badly needs this kind of love, mutual aid, and humanity. Please note that in your happenings and connect how you can support a family in Gaza seeking to find refuge. May we all, in all parts of our lives, strive to create a world of mutual thriving for every one of us. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. My name's Clemson Tarragano, and welcome to all of our friends online. I have the privilege of serving as your worship associate in our service today. Just a reminder, as we set the conditions for our service today, if you have a handheld device, it's a great time to just turn it off. If we feel comfortable enough, and if not, please put it on vibrate or silent. As Gail lights our chalice this morning, I read to you from the words of Rainer Maria Rilke in her passage called Praise. Oh, tell me, poet, what you do. I praise. But the deathly and the monstrous, how do you accept them and bear them? I praise. But the nameless, the anonymous, how, poet, can you still invoke it? I praise. Under every costume, every mask of us, what right have you to be true? I praise. Or that the calm and the impetuous should know you as star and storm? Because I praise.
Please join me in hymn number 1068 in the teal hymnal. My blood doth rise in the roots of the earth. Your side doth run in my veins. Promise my soul at the open sky, where the stars forever have been. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have been. My hands hold the weavings of time moving. My side as deep as the sea. Beating my heart since the measures of old, that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on a far distant sound, bringing my soul as the wind at my breast, and my love goes over the land. And my love goes over the land. My foot carries day shows us the rare, wondrous finds that is deep in the earth, to bring on her day. Rising green, rising green, to bring on her day.
As we're rising green to bring a new day, we gather today to partake in a meaningful and uplifting activity known as the Rippling Bowl. As members of our ecology, the Unitarian Universalist congregation, we embrace the diversity of beliefs and the inherent worth and dignity of every individual. This activity embodies the essence of our faith as we come together to build our wonderful world on a deeper level. Through our sharing of pebble or shell for our joys and sorrows, we seek to create the wonderful world of mutual thriving for all beings. And as a community, live up to our belief that no one has to be afraid. The intersection of ripples helps us to strengthen the ties that bind us, fostering an atmosphere of empathy, compassion, engagement, and support. Our shared humanity and connection transcend the boundaries that might otherwise separate us. So let's use the Rippling Bowl this morning to enable a world of mutual striving for all being. Let us be present in this sacred place, ready to embrace the diverse tapestry of voices that make up our wonderful world. And I'll begin the Rippling Bowl, placing 2 stones for our online friends, one for their joys and one for your sorrows. And with gratitude for each one of you and for the boundless possibilities that arise when we come together in beloved community, let us begin our Rippling Bowl. Having shared our joys and sorrows, we now have the chance to embrace and share our covenant. And our covenant is a locally generated statement of principles we aspire for and with each other. Now, different from a creed, it represents a statement of faith in each other and how we seek to work together to create the wonderful world that we seek. Saying our covenant together is how we, as individuals and community, not only aspire to build this beloved community, it inspires us for better humanity. It is our promise to ourselves and each other about how we will grow in wisdom, care, justice, service, and wonder. The words are in the order of service and are below the video on the live stream. Please join me in expressing this statement of faith in our church community. With courage, we say, we are a people of faith and hope. Together, we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. I see friends holding hands, singing, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." And now's the time of great chaos and energy and glory for our wonderful world. We are about to unleash the awesome energy of our beloved community. For those of us focused on wonderful more than community, please be mindful of those among us who may build community on a more individual basis. Be mindful of the interaction and focus on the energy of the person you are greeting. Please interact in whatever way might be helpful to them. It might be a wave, a handshake, or just a nod, a symbol of recognition and love that best meets their needs. For those online, this is a great chance to send a text, email, WhatsApp, Slack, Teams, WeChat, Spotify, or Signal message to someone you need to reach out to, maybe just to say thanks. And when Aaron starts playing, we are through. Please greet each other.
Good morning. My name is Rick Honenberg. I've been a longtime member here. I'm also the chairperson for the South Carolina Unitarian Universalist Justice Alliance Justice, AJA. And I wanted to, we have been selected for your donations this month. So I want to tell you a little bit. We have at this point a 7-member board. This is the 3rd year that we've been around. The congregations, and we have all 10, and we just found out that Thermal, which was up in Rutherford or in Tryon, has moved to South Carolina. And so we actually have 11 UU congregations in South Carolina now. So anyhow, Greenville, Charleston, Columbia, and Spartanburg are on our board. Spartanburg is also the fiscal sponsor of SCUJA. And then we have 3 nonprofits that are on the board. We have a situation where the NAACP, our president, is actually on the board. We've got a conservation voter. They're on the board, they're new. And the SC United, which works with folks with gender and LGBTQ folks. So this is our 3rd year, okay? It's important. We get money for the first 2 years from the UUA. That's gone. But if you see in the back of your book, and it's been mentioned, we're going to have anti-racism training next week. We still have 1 or 2 people that, if they're interested. I'm going to the mountains, so I won't be there. But anyhow, what we've been doing is working with these 10, and now it will be 11 churches to try to get a coordinated effort for Unitarian Universalism in South Carolina. We're still around. We're a small state, but we need your help. And so we hope that if that you bid generously, eventually, at least what I see from the other state action folks in the nation, about 70 to 75% of the money will come from congregants and also from congregations. We have the Spartanburg has given SCUJA money for the first 2 years. We put in the budget for next year. Each time it's gone up a little bit. So please donate if you can. Thank you.
There's a never-ceasing power in the blooming of a flower. There's a magic in the moving of a mighty eagle's wing. There's an overwhelming wonder in the lightning and the thunder. There's a deep down hidden glory in the holy heart of things. There's a never-ending rapture that the human soul can capture. And you see it in the sunrise that the morning always brings. There's an overwhelming joy that no sadness can destroy when you feel the deep down glory. expressing. And you hear it in the music that each little songbird sings. And if you will just surrender to the world and all its splendor, you will find that deep down glory in the holy heart of things.
You know, there's times when we're building our wonderful world when the universe just comes together. And I have the opportunity today to read from perhaps my favorite book. And it's called Man's Search for Meaning. And I missed a quick spell check in the bulletin because it's not Viktor Franklin, it's Viktor Frankl. And a remarkable work, and you'll see from this reading the depth of his writing and the depth of his thinking. I just want to thank Scott and Ann for getting the universe to come together and allowing me to read this morning. The Meaning of Life by Viktor Frankl, from Man's Search for Meaning. For the first time in my life, I saw the truth as it is set into song by so many poets, proclaimed as the final wisdom by so many thinkers. The truth that love is the ultimate and highest goal to which man can aspire. Then I grasped the meaning of the greatest secret that human poetry and human thought and belief have to impart. The salvation of man is through love and in love. Ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of his life is, but rather must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life, he can only respond by being responsible. It did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us. We needed to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead to think of ourselves as those who were being questioned by life, daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and in right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for each individual. Thus says Viktor Frankl.
Join me in silence. we've made a commitment that this is a place of welcome for every one of us, mutual thriving. And a baby's cry is song in the sanctuary. If you have trouble hearing, I want you to feel welcome to move so that you can hear more clearly. And if sitting near a baby is a comfort to you, I want for you to comfort that mother and that baby too. You can all find a place here. Every sound is beautiful. There was a wedding here yesterday. Can you imagine a more beautiful weekend for a wedding? Oh my God, it was so beautiful. And the oppressive pollen that is coming for us today was in abeyance yesterday. Just was absolutely beautiful here. Our sound techs have done a marvelous job of making sure all the equipment's working because the pulpit was moved, speakers were moved. There was a beautiful archway and white gauze behind me. It was just beautiful. And after the ceremony up here, everybody went downstairs for the party. There's a reason why some of our sacred traditions talk about the banquet tables of the next life as a wedding banquet, right? Because it is just sheer joy. I was up here cleaning up a little bit and the floor was vibrating. At first from the DJ, but then from the people. And people who can make a concrete floor vibrate 20 feet down by jumping up and down on another concrete floor are doing really good work. So much beauty. So much joy. Now, I have never met a family, most definitely including my own family, that is not seriously dysfunctional. Maybe you've been part of such a family. I would wager. And so we can safely say, without going into any detail, that the family that assembled for this beautiful celebration yesterday has its fair share of dysfunction. It's just a good bet. And yet, here they gathered. After all they've lived through, whatever that may be. And the beauty of the day enhanced from the beauty of those people gathered together in love. With all of their history, all their awareness, all their very real humanity. The light of a late spring afternoon into evening, and the throb of a DJ's beat. So much deeper the bass line, so much brighter the light, for the love of the people for each other through it all. I came to be here with you almost 7 years ago now. I remember so distinctly the first person I met in this sanctuary. I'd shaken hands with other folks at the door when I came. And I myself was terrified. I was here to be judged by you, and I didn't know why the hell I was here anyway. How is it that my life had led me this far, to this place? I was very confused. And I came in the sanctuary to try to collect myself. There's a person sitting just over there, in the very back corner. And I went over to meet them. They shared with me their name. And that was about it. It was the extent of their words. It's a person who had lived through a great deal in their life. And they've lived through a great deal in the last 7 years as well. A person whose life had brought them to the point of barely being able to speak, being almost speechless, literally speechless. Just enough words to say their name. Today, that person led our Sunday morning class as teacher and spoke with eloquence and determination about their life and about our life and about politics in our state and our nation for a solid hour, leading a group larger than any of the Sunday morning classes I've been able to assemble in the last year and a half. Truth. That is what love can do. That is the transformation that is possible when we go with each other through difficulty. Not forcing and not quickly, but nurturing the very best in each other and drawing out of each other what is deep inside of us, the deep goodness that Clemson has already named for us today. A family that's passed through what all families pass through, whatever it all is. Drawing love out of each other. So the bright light of spring is enhanced by their presence together. So beautiful. And a person who moves from speechlessness to eloquence through the nurturing care and love of a whole congregation over many years, so that their brightness and their power, their wisdom and their strength can inform us all and share with us a future. This is the power that love offers us. Someone stopped me this morning and said, "We're celebrating Passover today? That's not for another couple of weeks." And they're absolutely right. Passover begins later this month. But we are entering into a time of richness in our congregation's life. Next week, half of us will be up at the mountain, and the others of us will be here. We'll gather in both places. And I will be at the mountain, and Ann will be here leading our service. And then we have a wealth of guest speakers coming in April. In short, I will be away later this month when we would usually celebrate Passover. And you know that this is a year of rich and difficult meaning for the celebration of Passover because of the war in Israel and Gaza. So it seemed important to me that we celebrate today in preparation for the celebration to come. Last week when we celebrated Easter in spring, I said this is the meaning of Easter. It is love turning to face the things we fear most. Empires of greed and violence, ideologies of domination, empires even of death, looking those systems of domination and oppression directly in the face and saying, I have not come for your conquest, but your transformation. Let me show you a more excellent way. Easter is love extending transformation to the very things that would destroy us. And Easter is just a reliving of the older story of Passover, of love claiming us in enslavement and oppression and domination and guiding us on a path to transformation, a more excellent way. This Passover Love stares empires of domination and death in the face and says, we must do differently. There are citizens of Israel who every day face the empire of death that their administration has become, and that say with great risk to themselves, this is not what makes us safe. We must create a world of thriving for every person. That is the path of safety. That is love. A love of country that risks alienation from the country you love to call it to a more excellent way. In Judaism, the deepest teaching is that our world is good. And we can see it all around us. Look at the flowering trees. Look at the generations of care that Harold Hatcher and Bob Mitchell and Naomi Richardson and Alice Sutton and all of you who have laid hands on this ground have nurtured around us. Look out of the non-stained glass windows that open onto the beauty of this world and see how wonderful this world is. We live in a world that is good. And we can feel it in ourselves and how good it is to gather and to be with each other. How good it is to hear someone brave enough to run for elected office sing from a pulpit into a microphone, recorded for eternity, and of a musician who has battled illness for 2 weeks to come even when she still can't hear anything, and lead us in these beautiful, difficult songs of spring. Creation is so good, and we are a part of that goodness. And then something goes wrong. The dysfunction of families overwhelm us. The brokenness of our lives break us to speechlessness. The country that we love steals our ideals and turns claims of freedom, beauty, of liberty into oppression and death. Think of this. Think of the beauty of Louis Armstrong's voice. Think of the unique and warm richness of that man's voice. Can you hear it? I don't dare try to imitate. It's as if the sun is in his throat, pouring out for us, and we are bathed in that warm light. And he sings. Sing it for us. What a wonderful world. Yeah. What a wonderful world. Man living in Jim Crow America, who had profits from his recordings stolen from him from his managers, like so many other black musicians before him and after. Man who had to be careful where he stopped to use the bathroom. And he was traveling to share the warmth of his voice with each of us. Friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What is that love that he sings for every one of us? To call us to the corruption and darkness of our own country, to make it a wonderful world. The second great teaching of Judaism is tikkun olam, the repair of the world. The world and all of its depth and richness is good. It is beautiful. But something goes wrong. And we are entrusted with its repair, to do the very best we can to fix it. And we do that through the love of this world that is its deep goodness. The love that formed and made this world, however it is that happened, whatever it is you think. And that we feel in our own lives the dignity and worth of each of us, just in who we are. The beauty of the cries of a baby in a sanctuary, as beautiful a voice as Louis Armstrong's, speaking to us. What a wonderful world. That love has the power to draw families together in the beautiful celebrations of marriage, rites of spring, and to return a beautiful being to their eloquent speech, to proclaim the inherent worth and dignity of every one of us. The unforgettable voice of a man singing to us how beautiful this world is, to call us to that love. Love you can feel in your chest right now, to make it beautiful again.
Please join me on hymn number 163 in your gray hymnal. For the earth forever turning, for the skies forever
As Gail extinguishes our chalice this morning, we return to the words of Rainer Maria Rilke, the deathly and the monstrous. Oh, tell me, poet, what you do, I praise. But the deathly and the monstrous, how do you accept them and bear them? I praise.
What time are we supposed to get out of here? This will be a 10-minute benediction. We are entering into a rich and important time for our congregation. Don't be afraid. We have been together, serving together, working together for 7 years almost. I remember when you called me after you voted, one of the very esteemed members of this congregation met me in the door and said, "It's your ministry now." And I said, "Oh no, that's not how this is going to work. This is our ministry." We have done so much for almost 7 years together. Part of your foolishness all those years ago was to include in my contract a clause to allow me some time off, a sabbatical. And that time is coming this summer. For 7 years, we have done so much together. And for the last 2 years, we have done so much work of discernment and finding purpose and setting challenges for ourselves. That any of you stayed through that long, arduous process, I just can't believe it. And here we are. This summer, basically from Memorial Day till Labor Day, I'm going to be away on sabbatical. And this will be the case for several years to come. What your board for the last 3 years and I have worked out is deferring that sabbatical time for a year so that we could finish the visioning process, get well clear of COVID, get things very well in place, and then to break it up so that I'm not gone for a longer period of time in the year. It just felt like too much to be gone for 3 months. To combine that with my time away in the summer already and be gone for the summers for the next several years. If you have questions about this, we can talk all about it. You can't ask any wrong questions. Now, later, whenever. The thing that I want you to know is the last 3 years of your boards that you've elected have done a fantastic job of preparing. I've never seen a congregation do so much preparation. Financial stewardship, logistical planning, sorting through details, all of it. And you have also seen fit to take a great risk in your staffing here, to do some unusual things, which means that we will have continuity in ministerial staffing through Ann Garner. Ann is going to be with you as your ministerial lead through this time. And it's going to cost us something. And the generosity of this congregation has already provided a way to do that. It's really amazing, the preparation. Most of all, your willingness to build a relationship with not one but two ministers, and above all with each other through the visioning process, has created a very strong foundation for us to do this. But here's the deal. Sometimes when a minister goes away on sabbatical, folks think, well, we're all on vacation. And sometimes when a minister goes away on sabbatical, folks think, cat's away. How we fill the power vacuum. But you know through the 2 years of visioning that we've done that there is no power vacuum here. That we are in shared ministry with each other. That we're in partnership. That you not only have staff to lead, but you are the leaders. And we do this work together. And that your presence is what creates the magic here. So this is what I want to ask of you. Over these next 2 months, we're going to have weird Sunday schedules. I'm going to be at the mountain, and it's going to be here next week. We're going to have amazing guest speakers from the life of this congregation the next 2 weeks. And then in May, it's going to be like celebration every Sunday. Celebrating Sybil service here, celebrating our children, celebrating you, doing flower communion. It's going to be like a month-long party in May. Wild times at the UU. Please remember to wear your clothes, right? What I'm asking is that you come. That your coming here be from your love of this place and of these people, of all that we have created with each other, and of the goodness, the repair, the tikkun olam we can offer the world together.